welcome to Pesnits, and this is my clue 2 of the Stephen West MKAL for 2024. Welcome. You're watching kind of like a second part to my first video, so if you haven't watched that, maybe visit that video first and then revisit to this video. On that video, I talked a lot about like the yarn that I'm using and kind of like how I'm going to be going about this this year's MKAL. So if you're interested in that, go and check out that video. Anyway, so I think from my last video, I was having a look at clue 2. I hadn't started it yet, so here I am checking in midway. Well, not midway, I think 1/4 of the way of clue 2. Now, clue 2, you know, we've gotten up to the brioche option. And I was feeling pretty confident that I was going to do the brioche option. I have mohair that I'm incorporating into my shawl, so as a part of that brioche section, I'd be using mohair. I did attempt, I promise you, I did attempt to do brioche with my mohair. However, it quickly became apparent that as someone who's never done brioche in my life, like this mohair was going to be challenging. And so I ended up doing the eyelet option with my mohair. So here she is. I forgot to say spoilers. I'll be saying spoilers throughout this whole video. So if you're not into that, hopefully you've left by now. Anyway, so here's my part of my clue 2. So I've completed one stripe of the clue 2, which is the eyelet section. And I completed it with my mohair. So if you can kind of see, I don't know if the fuzziness is kind of, you can see it on camera, but it's super furry, really fuzzy mohair. And that was partly the reason why I didn't continue doing brioche, because it was just so, it was too much essentially. And I could see that I was like setting myself up for failure with the brioche, which is why I continued with the eyelet section, which I actually really love the look of. I feel like it kind of looks like little mini bubbles from the second part. So I think it links in really well together. And I love how the mohair looks. It's like very heavy on the mohair, which I think with the brioche, the mohair would be like the contrasting color inside of the brioche. So it wasn't so like mohair, but this is like very much like mohair, you know? So anyway, I ended up doing eyelets. This is done. The next section is another row of these bubbles, so I'll just do that as per normal. I might be jinxing myself here, but in my mind, for the next part, you're meant to do another section of another section of this, but I'm gonna do brioche for like the final, like this stripe. But instead of using the mohair, I'm just gonna use my regular contrast color, which is not mohair, it's just a normal, you know. And if that doesn't work out, I can always just do eyelets. I can always learn brioche another time. But yeah, I really love how it's looking thus far. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video, but I did skip forward to look at the end of clue 2. Oh my god, I'm so bad. I love how I started this whole thing with saying I'm not going to skip forward in his YouTube videos to look at what the final clue looks like, when I've done that for the past 2 clues. Clues 1 and 2, I both skip forward. Not straight away, but like either midway or like towards the beginning of like me knitting it. Anyway, and I was looking at like the clue 2 for a lot of people like that Stephen had like reposted. I saw this gorgeous one, and it was like red and white and maroon, and it looked so beautiful. Anyway, and so it's like really great to see everyone else's colors. I feel like mine is coming across really like moody, like very like Halloween, which I guess is like on, like very relevant since it's October. So it's really interesting to see it in like more brighter colors. I have a friend who was able to do brioche in the first section, and it looks great. And so that's why I'm like, I want to do brioche. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm able to like put my 2 brain cells together and rub them together and do the brioche for one of these sections. I'll be really happy if that happens. But I'll see you in my next update. Bye. Hello. Thought I would do a little check-in. I think it's been 2 days since I last did a recording, like progress update. So I'm happy to say that I have finished both. I gotta be really careful with this. Both the eyelet section and the bubbles section. So you can kind of see it. These eyelet stripes here and then the bubble on the top. And now I'm currently doing the brioche. So this is the first time I've ever done brioche, and the way that the tutorial is structured, it was a little bit unfortunate, only because of me, to my own, like, because of myself. Stephen had only put a YouTube tutorial for the first section of brioche, not the second. And I think the reason for that is that he doesn't want like the entire pattern up for free on YouTube, obviously. But also it's like, if you got the hang of the section in brioche in section 1, you'd probably be able to read section 2 relatively easily. But because I did section 1 as the eyelets, it's like I was coming at it with like, you know, completely did not know anything about brioche. So I didn't have like a YouTube tutorial readily available for me to play. But I was able to like look at sections, like little parts of the video for section 1 and like use it in the second section, if that makes sense. So anyway, I was able to like get an idea of how to do it. And thus far, I've been able to get the rhythm, like the intuition, the brioche spidey sense from it. I don't even know how to describe that. It's just like there's a rhythm to it, and I think I've like gotten it. I've only done I've done two wrong side and right side rows for each color. So really I've done 4 rows, but in brioche I've only done 2. And I literally don't even think you can even like see what's going on, because it's like so, like I've made little to no progress. Sorry, let me cover my face. I'm knitting it pretty loosely, only because I think if it's too tight, it's gonna get tangled because of all like the stitches and stuff. But I'm really liking it thus far. It'll be really interesting to see how the brioche looks at the end of it. And in terms of like the bubble section, the first time I did this, like I made the mistake of knitting it way too tightly, and I made sure to do it way looser. And I was worried that the bubble definition would be different, but it looks the exact same. So there you go. And yeah, so super excited. I have, what day is it today? So I've got like 2.5 days to finish the brioche and then another bubble section. The bubble section is really actually pretty quick, so I'm not worried about that, but we'll see how we track with the brioche section.
Okay, so another update with the brioche. It is an absolute disaster. I have done a couple of rows, and as you can see, that is literally not brioche. And I have a feeling like I could feel when it went wrong. Like I felt like there was a break in the pattern, and my intuition was telling me that it was wrong, but that's what the pattern was telling me. So I kept going, and I think it's just like a lost cause. I was tempted to like continue it because it's like looks pretty wacky. Like look at that. I feel like right there I was right, and then after that it just went completely haywire and wrong. So I think in hindsight I really wish I put a lifeline in. That was so silly of me that I didn't do that. It didn't occur to me to do that. So I think I'm gonna put a lifeline in now, undo it, and then have a little think on whether or not I want to continue with the brioche or just do an eyelet section. Right now I'm leaning towards the eyelet section, but let's see how I feel once I have all of these stitches undone. Like I would keep going, except like there's a lot of mistakes in here as well, so I don't know. Like I know that this like it's wrong to begin with, but like even the stitch count is just like completely wrong. So I'm going to undo it, and then I'll check back in with you guys. Okay, it's the next day. It took me yesterday, a bit of yesterday and today to get my failed brioche all undone. Essentially what I did, I put in a lifeline just like retrospectively or whatever, and then I unraveled the brioche and then put it back on my cabled needles. It was a bit of a nightmare because looking at the stitches, reading the stitches, and putting the lifeline in afterwards isn't the easiest. So some of the stitches I missed, and I had to put stitch markers in and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we're back to square one in terms of the next section. I have come to the conclusion that I'm just going to do another eyelet section. I'm pretty disappointed that I wasn't able to like figure out how to do brioche, but I think I'll have to like somehow find a brioche project to like for another redemption round of brioche. But for now, I think I'm going to do another round of eyelets, and I'm going to use mohair again. The reason why is because I think Stephen had said during this clue that there'll be one other place to put mohair. And so there's like only 3 sections that you could put in. I'm sure you can put it in more. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do the mohair again. And then, yeah, we'll see how we go.
Hi! So, I'm not sure how long it's been, but in terms of the timeline, I'm officially behind. Clue 3 came out 2 days ago. 2 days ago. So I'm I'm behind officially. However, I just finished Clue 2 and I will be starting Clue 3 today. So, finished all the bubble rows, finished all the mohair eyelet rows. I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I'm still feeling pretty down about the fact that I couldn't do the brioche. I think the vertical lines would have really added something like to the design, because this is all like very vertical lines down the bottom. But anyway, I'm happy with the eyelets. Like, it looks good. The use of the mohair, it really highlights the mohair. It's like super furry. I don't know if you can see. So it'll add a lot of warmth to the shawl. So I'm pretty happy. Because I'm behind, I'm pretty sure I'm going to combine this with Clue 3. So I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to get started on Clue 3, which looks short. But then when I read the instructions, it says something like, repeat these steps 16 more times. So I was like, oh no, I think it's going to be a lot of work. So I'm going to get started right now.